Like, I literally done this morning, going through like the Otis Hill approach basically, but like with my twang. Like, this is the complete early days of it, so treat this with a big pinch of salt because I'm probably not even doing it properly. I'm just trying to get to grips with it. But anyway, so what I've been marking up is what I've wrote down here is just basically the weekly in-play and pushes, and then when you get a nice weekly pin bar, which is like sat amongst the weekly in-play and push, that suggests it's likely to be done. So for example here, this push to the downside, this is the previous set and push in play, the push to the upside was set up done as of this motion bar close, and then a trend emerged relative to the weekly. This bar then formed in the fashion that set up this, comprised of the market participants intent to trade within this time period that set up this trend to the downside. What was in play as done. Now from this point it did make sense to look for buys based on the weekly pin bar too. And then also here you see weekly pin bar, it's sat snug within in play at and push that is likely to continue to the upside. The same with this. The momentum relative to how trades have been trading is poised to continue. So then I just marked it with the green line. The same can be said for this. So this is the weekly chart. You can go through all these, pause this video and see which bars are marked, which I'm just marking up when you get sufficient anatomic bar closes that are sat within in-play and push, which is poised to continue pushing, right? So I can also actually already see this level of support here too. I would also classify this as support too. So it's like remember, we are not actually set out to see the market come to a certain break and retest point. It just must be thereabout, basically. So you've also got like a resistance area here. So here you see the in-play and push is still poised to continue pushing, even as of this bar actually, to be honest. But because it was like this push to the upside setup is done, and then you got ensuing structure, that's why I didn't mark this, because it's a bit iffy. You kind of just want to sit out. It's not clear. I've only marked up clear bars. So anyway, this is the weekly. The reason why I'm speaking quite fast is because I've got to get ready for work in 4 minutes. So yeah, I'll just quickly, I'm not going to break down every single trade. I'll just scan through them all off the ones that I've got. I don't actually think I've done these ones. No, I haven't. See, so there was a bit of a break here, so I just didn't see it. So there was no nice bar close from, like, you were waiting from about, yeah, see, so this is kind of like Otis Hill style, right? This is something, even if it's not Otis Hill style, this is Carlson's interpretation, right? So I must sound like I've got autism here, but it's because I'm so passionate about this, and I just kind of love it. So, and I've got to get something going with it too, to be fair. Like, I have the standard strategy, but Otis pointed something out which I can't be asked to go into right now, which really got me thinking. Now, I'll always keep it that way, the way it exists, but I do want to also have something on the side, which I want to do it exactly as Otis is doing it. But anyway, these are the trades. So you've got a nice 2-to-1 here. You'd be risking 1% of your capital, not 2, like I do on my standard account. So that, and if I'm on a 50k, I'd be risking 5 to make 500 to make a grand. You see this here? So you've got 2, 4, 6. There's my alarm. 8, 10, 8, 10. You get the gist. So from the March 12th and here through September 25th up to the March 12th, you would have took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades, and you would have won 6 and lost 1, and you would be up 10% or something. I can't remember. It was 8 or something, actually, something like that. 8, 10. I can't remember. It's still good, but you'd be doing this on all other instruments too, which would be a bit stressful, but it probably wouldn't be, because as Otis does it, he literally, as I said, I was on a private call with him yesterday, and I'm not sure too much. I'll not share much really at all, apart from the nitty gritty stuff. because I could have done this anyway. Um, but the nitty gritty stuff I obviously can't say on here. There wasn't much. I'm not gatekeeping or whatever. It was just basically manage your risk, etc., etc. I just anyway, how Otis does it is he literally just cycles through all of his pairs, and he'll have his weekly SR marked up already, and he'll assess the weekly in play and push, and the most recent bar close sat within the weekly in play and push with his weekly support and resistance levels marked up on the chart. And you'll basically go through each of the instruments that are set up nicely in a particular fashion, that are trending nicely, like this kind of, and yeah, actually literally like this, and basically which are like poised to continue pushing to the downside. So as I've just mentioned, um like with this is an actual like Otis Hill type setup. What I would then be looking for out of this, so like relative to my interpretation as of now, it's obviously going to change because I don't think I'm doing it properly, and it's not really. I haven't had that gel slash clicking moment yet, but it is something that you could work with this. But basically, I'd be looking for a push to around this region, and then see a sufficient anatomic bar close, aka a pin bar. And then I would be looking to execute a trade, stop loss just above and target 1 to 2. So that's how I was doing it. So like, I see how I just landed on GU, because that was the one that was set up most nicely relative to the weekly. You know, it's trending nicely in a clear direction. It's clearly going to the downside. And then also relative to the weekly in play and push, you could also make that argument of that it's a nice resistance zone too. But most importantly, relative to the weekly in play and push, as of the most recent bar close, you're also assessing that where it's situated amongst the in play and push, which was to the upside, and setup is done as of this most recent bar close, and basically assessing the in play and push's current setup state of likely to continue pushing. Then obviously, like I said, you wait for a nice sufficient weekly anatomic bar close amongst a push that is like either ready to just continue trending, or maybe slightly to reverse and the push is done. In this case, it's a newly emerged push and it's likely to push to the downside. But that's it. You've seen the setup that I'm looking for in GU, which would be relative to Otis Hill's setup and Carlson's interpretation as of now. But aside from that, I'm going to have to go.